Hello. So I received this in the post yesterday, and I thought, what the hell is this that he's chucked over the wall? Yeah, because I say I received it in the post. Obviously, the courier just lobbed it over our fence. But that's fine, because it was well padded, and I thought, what is it? Because I'm always sort of ordering stuff and then forgetting that I've done it. Then I remembered and thought, yeah, I know what it is. So I thought I'd unbox it for you. So without further ado, I mean, you know, this is going to be a faff. If it takes too long, I'll just have to cut it. As in, I'll have to cut the video. Because I don't expect you to... Jesus, it's done up like Fort Knox. Yeah, okay. This is going to be quite hard work. That turned out to be very well packed, which is what you want, obviously, if you've got something this valuable coming through the post, because this is the Black Science Artist Edition. So nice. Quite difficult to get hold of. I could only find one on eBay. Artist editions, these are fantastic. I don't know if you guys are getting into these. If you're an artist, if you're interested in... so I've got crap all over it already. If you're interested in... well, what? All aspects of art, really. From line weight to composition to colour theory to all of it. Everything. Because the thing about comic art, as I've said before, is that you, as a comic artist, you've got to be able to illustrate anything and everything. So this is by Remender and Matteo Scalera, published by Image, and the artist edition, look at this, 19.99 when they come out. Cost me a bit more than that, let me tell you. But I should have been quicker off the mark. I've never managed to get one of these like artist editions when they actually come out. I always end up having to buy them second hand off people, and you pay a lot of money for obvious reasons, because they get snapped up. But anyway, let's shut up and get into it. Move me mouse. There we go. Let's have a look at this. What a beautiful opening frame. So much black. Working in black and white. I'm working a lot in black and white at the moment, and getting a balance of blacks when you're working. Inkers talk about it all the time, getting a balance between your blacks and your white areas, your negative space and all that sort of stuff. It is it can be a real tricky thing. It's really interesting the way he's illustrated this, actually. I'm looking at what he's using. It looks like he uses quite a lot of brush. But I still can't tell without seeing the page. It also looks like he uses digital quite a lot. That would be a guess. This is all a guess, by the way, because I don't know. And it'd be great if anybody knows, if they could confirm it. Also, obviously, all these pages are coloured when they're actually printed, and I'm wondering if they just grayscaled some of the colour here, because you can see he hasn't. Well, I'm pretty certain he hasn't used lots and lots of differing greys to do this. I'm guessing that what he's done is he's used colour, you know, and they've grayscaled it. It's still great to see it at this kind of size, though. Particularly these kind of great big spreads. It's a lovely bit of composition, that. So you've got your great big sort of words are eluding me today. Big foreground character. Set these characters back here. Always, when you've got the same character, by the way, if you've got the same characters here, it's a bit of a gift to an artist, because the brain knows that this is the character and this is how big the character is. So when you put the character back there and it's smaller, then we know it's further back. I mean, it works with any character, but if you've got the same character, it's a real gift, because we've already got an idea of scale. Lovely bit of spread there. Not particularly detailed either, not particularly. You've got this extreme foreground here, which is the same. I'm assuming that, yeah, that's the same thing. We know because of the design on it that it's the same thing. It's a bit of turtle here, where it is, and yeah. Gives us lots and lots of depth. There, even further back, and then right in the background, you've got lightning, all that sort of stuff. Really good. Really good. That's a beautiful, oh, you can't really see it very well. I'm trying to get it, it's so massive I can't really get it into frame very well. That's a beautiful dynamic panel. Look at all the lines, all these lines zipping you towards the object, and it's all about speed. This guy, Scalera, is so good at indicating a character moving at speed. Dynamic movement, basically. Lots and lots of dynamic movement lines. But dynamic movement lines are only one small part of the story as well. You've still got to be able to illustrate a figure in movement. Some great composition. Look at that, looking down, the camera's looking down on them there. Then we're right into the action here. More detail of faces and stuff. Beautiful blacks. Look how black that is. The lighting on that is gorgeous. Love it. Limiting lighting sometimes for yourself. That's a really great exercise as an artist. Limit your light source. Just see how much you can limit it. Another interesting one there. If you look at this, so the character's all black, you know, and actually it's the white bits that are put in. And then you've got this huge white backdrop there, which doesn't require any real detailing except the little tiny bits of black. You know, there's nearly predominantly all black there. Gorgeous bit of composition. Same with this there as well. So you've got these bits of wood tree there to give you a foreground, to give you an idea of depth. Tilting the camera angle like that. You've got dynamic movement from the character. It's real proper masterclass stuff, this. I won't go into storytelling because it's not particularly what I do for my discipline, but these panels building to that spread. Look at that spread. You've got your character here in the foreground. Well, in fact, so he's put a great bit of foreground in here. Can you see these themes thematically that I'm trying to sort of push you towards all the time? Big bit of foreground. Then you've got your character in foreground, set back a little bit further. Then you've got another big character here, further back. Character there, further back still. Characters a bit further back still there. These characters there, set back, really interesting, and they're stood up on a, you know, so we've got a nice bit of height in there as well, gorgeous. And then this massive, great ziggurat. Ziggurat's a great word, isn't it? Hope I'm using it right. Big old pyramid ziggurat there, which is your point of focus. Everything just going into there. Fabulous. Dynamic movement again. Big rock coming his way there. Look at it, he does it so much. You've got so much dynamic movement. All these, this whole opening seat's all about him escaping, running. Great one there. I'll try not to labour too much so I can actually get through it. But oh, now we're into an interior. Great interior. Beautiful. Look how clear it is as well. It's got a nice big sort of stairway entrance in there. There's one over there. We know it because it's identical to that one, so we can place that very easily in our mind. We know that one's further away because it's smaller. I know this is obvious stuff, but you know, it helps as an artist when you've got a blank piece of paper in front of you. You know, you just start roughing stuff out. You know, this is how you do it. Big centre piece there, don't know what that is, but it doesn't matter, works beautifully. Then you've got another, that one is obviously the same distance away because it's the same size, and so on. Big foreground character here to give us lots and lots of depth. Look at the size of these characters. That one's that big. That one's a bit smaller still, bit smaller still, bit smaller still, bit smaller, bit smaller, tiny, yeah. The depth that gives you. I know that I know it sounds rudimentary and basic, but that's sort of what I'm pushing here. You know, I'm pushing basic composition, basic drawing in perspective, basic landscape creation, all this kind of stuff. You know, because once you've got the basics, you can really start to play with them. start to muck about with them. Great, so dynamic. I'm using that word quite a lot, aren't I? But this work is dynamic, that's why. Also, I've seen this in colour. If you haven't seen this in colour, it is worth having a look. Slight oversight on my part. I should have got the trade paperback out and shown you the colour version as well. But I don't know where it is, because it's probably half read somewhere. Anyway, you can see. It's great. Busting out of the big window there. Look at this. It's very Frank Miller-y, this. If you've ever seen Sin City, that kind of stuff. Frank Miller's style from that, where he used a lot of black. And it was all about... I can't remember, it's a particular kind of lighting where tiny bits of light are picked out on very, very dark surfaces. So you get very black characters and black background and all that, but you can see what it is straight away because certain bits of it from the light source are picked out. And it's very, very nice. I don't know if did Frank Miller pioneer that kind of thing, or was he running off somebody else's stuff? I know he was very inspired by Will Eisner, who was, I mean, you know, we're talking, these people are masters of their art form. Strongly recommend you looking at Will Eisner's stuff, The Spirit. I mean, that is just amazing, that stuff. He was doing that in the 1940s and 50s, and it is a masterclass in creating characters and art and composition. Compositionally, Will Eisner, wow. I mean, he practically wrote the rule book. He didn't write the rule book, but you know what, I'm exaggerating. A genius, man, a genius. Gorgeous. Look at all this. Look at that for a bit of depth. So you've got this great big old spaceship there. Oh, I see what he's done there. I think that panel there is a sort of, is that panel but pushed in, I think, which is fine. That's okay to do that. Wow, this guy getting blasted here. Again, look at that. Look at the dynamic movement with economy of line. You know exactly what this figure is as he stumbles and is falling over. This guy's getting blasted here. It's so dynamic. And it's just, no, it's just, that's just a, as far as we can tell, it's just a heavy grey, you know, and I know exactly what's going on there. Very skilled illustration. Beautiful, and that's it. And then we've got some big cover illustrations here. So good, really, really good. Love that, that's great. Love that angle as well. Oh, nice big fans. This is the kind of stuff I love. Fans and pipes and sort of energy containers and machinery and stuff. I'm doing more of this sort of stuff at the moment. This is exactly the kind of thing I'm doing. Love all that. Fantastic. What's that? Deadly Class. Ooh. Nice. Yeah, anyway, there you go. Black Science, Artist Edition. You learn a lot from looking at these. I learn a lot from these. You know, I'm a character artist, so mostly that's what I'm interested in. But if you're a grapher generally, it doesn't do you any harm to learn about composition, because either you know this stuff intuitively, you pick it up on the way, or you start to sort of deconstruct and learn that way. But these things will teach you a lot because you see them in a very raw form. You see them without all the whistles and bells on, you know, without all the colour and everything. So you can see how the artist has constructed it, and also at the same size that the artist has constructed it, which is why it's so useful. Because if you're trying to put things together and they're too small or too large or whatever, or you know, you're struggling with scale, you see just how big he worked in the space. You know, just how much negative space he had to leave, and how he worked it, and just the amount of The amount of black he uses a lot more black than I do. He's a lot more daring with black. Look at that. Loads and loads of black. See, I'm sure if I used that much black, you wouldn't be able to tell what my characters were, because my characters are not as delineated as these guys. That's why I'm a cartoonist, essentially, because I don't draw quite as... I mean, this isn't a realistic style. It's a much more heightened style than realism, but still, you know, it's more realistic, I guess, than the characters that I do, I guess. Anyway, there you go. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that.